Hello and welcome to League of Vloggers. Tonight we are on episode 2 of season 4.
God, if you got confused in accounting this early, we're in trouble.
I know. Tonight our host, I forgot the host last time, so I'm at least
making
it better. Host tonight, we've got Kurtis James on the far side.
Hey.
We've got Heather, aka Stormy, in the middle. Myself, I am Chase, aka Viking Redbeard. It is Tuesday. It is not Monday like our normal time.
It's not.
I will get my quick little Monday match rant out here real quick. Monday matches suck. There we go.
I agree.
Really?
Concurred.
Because honestly, while I was sitting watching them, I kind of liked it. Like, I knew beforehand that if I was just a casual observer, like, not casual observer, but a normal fan, I should say, that I would probably prefer it. And I really did feel that, like, yesterday it was kind of nice to come home from work, like, got food, got a couple things done, threw it on, because it starts at 5:30 our time. 6:30 our time, because it's 5:30 Pacific, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, I would have liked it to be 5:30 instead, but I get it, you can't start before 5:30 Pacific, or people in, LA are still at their jobs. Yep. But, yeah, it was kind of nice. Like, I put it on, it was 2 matches, and it was done, and I was like, oh, sweet. I'm done with it. Awesome.
Yeah, but we could have been done with it on Sunday.
Right.
Agreed.
But by the same token, it was kind of nice on Saturday and Sunday to not have 5 matches in the day. Like, 4 was kind of...
I was okay. I'm okay with it.
I watched all 5 back then, and I was fine with it. But it also kind of dragged on the whole fucking day.
I was okay with that.
Like,
I liked
even
it.
when I used to watch, like, football games on Saturdays, you're not there for fucking 5 hours. You end up watching, like, 2 games, which is about 4 hours.
Yeah.
It feels like a sweet spot. Now, I did see on Reddit a lot. In general, it seemed like the few NA people were talking about it were like, oh, I liked it overall. And EU people were like, this sucks. Because there's a lot of EU people who do watch LCS. And for them, it's 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, depending on their EU time zone, like, it varies a little bit. But yeah, it's like, okay, well, it's a Monday night. Although, by the same token, sometimes Sunday matches would go that late, and it's like, well, were you watching all the Sunday ones and then going to work like tired as shit on Monday? Like, it's not. I get the difference is ending at like 2:33 as opposed to starting at 2:30. Like, obviously, very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get the problem for them, but overall, I think for the common fan, it's going to end up being preferable.
So even if we take the fans out of it, like
so.
they're now having to run that production area for a third day.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like they're having to bring in workers and
in.
all the stuff that happens there.
And you don't even get to, as a fan, go to those.
No, you do.
Well, they're not selling normal tickets to Mondays.
Oh.
Mondays are like event things they're doing. So
Well,
they'll give them out to groups. So there are crowds there, but they are specifically inviting. Like, so it'll be like, they put out the tickets, and I think it's going to generally be for free, but it would be like for the esports groups at like UCLA Santa Barbara. Whoever's part of those groups can come. Things like that. They're going to do events with it, at least this year or this split. But I mean, most of those people work on Monday anyway because they work for Riot and they're the production staff. So they come in, they discuss the matches over the weekend, they get ready storyboards, like. They might have had Mondays off, but I'm guessing they probably work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off because you want to get your first discussions in while it's fresh, then take a day or two to mull it over, and then come back. I mean, obviously, we don't know their work schedules, but they were already, working over the weekend. They have weird weekends anyway.
Yeah, and like not necessarily like the casters and stuff, but like the people that like the running the concessions and like the security folks and the people like keeping track of all the other stuff that's happening.
And for them, it's a part-time job, so they're just getting more hours now.
Yeah, maybe it's beneficial.
I don't know, man. I'm not there.
I mean, yeah, we would have to actually talk to those people, and if we go back this split, next split, we'll ask them. We'll ask them what they think of having Monday nights now, if they prefer it or don't prefer it, and we'll report back.
Cool. So we can get off that. That was my very, very short rant.
Yeah. No, and I get, like, especially for us, it is kind of frustrating because it was nice to have like 2 days, do this on Monday, and then have the week.
That's the other part. My brain's fucking fucked. Brain is fucking fucked. Yes, those were the right words. Like I can barely remember what I did like before yesterday. So now that I've got like an extra day between like when I watch the rest of the matches, it's not going to bode well.
And if we rewind a year from now, you were not you're not doing a job that required as much intensity as it does now. You've also added like 2 or 3 things to like your monthly schedule that you didn't have previously.
That's true.
Like you have your show night with friends. You didn't have that at this time last year. We've added our D&D that we do for Yeti, so we have that bi-weekly, and then we added a second Smash Bros tournament. Like,
yes,
we have more going on than we used to. So like stretching to 3 days, like just it feels like it adds more, even though it's the same number of matches.
So that being said, the actual matches, for the most part, they did not go at all how I had planned. Not even remotely close.
I believe this is the first time ever all of us have scored under 50% on our predictions. That includes going back to season 1, like world stuff with Yumi and Zane when we kicked this off 3 years ago. Like, we've never all been, like, somebody always at least hits 500. I think somebody's probably always been over 500, like half and half. No, all of us were below. You and I went 4 and 6. Heather went 3 and 7. It was not a good week for predictions.
Well, so, like, there was so much shake-up. Like, apparently, like, players that were playing well at the end of last split, there was enough shake-up that happened that some of those players looked like garbage going into today. Not going to mention any names like CLG or anything, but...
Medios? Sorry, I don't think Medios look good, but that's just me.
He did not have a good week, I agree.
But yeah, like, teams that you would have expected to have won their matches, also TSM. Like,
well, let's start off and talk about those two. I mean, you let off with CLG. I know Heather earlier today. My notes for talking about CLG is CLG womp womp.
Bullshit, boys.
Because we all expected them to be pretty good, and it's not just us. Like, the community at large saw that team, saw the small changes they made as, okay, you've got PoE in the mid lane now, or I'm sorry, Crown in the mid lane now, which I think in general is probably going to be better for them. And he looked pretty all right. You think Wiggly's going to get better, Stixay's good, hopefully Ruin would get better, and then you swapped out Biofrost for Smoothie in the bot lane, that seems fine. And then they just showed up and shat the bed. Like, their second game was a hard throw right off the top, to be fair, against FlyQuest. Like, Crown died, and Wiggly... Ruin was coming, and Wiggly saw that, and he's like, oh, I can, like, hold them here, and, like, hard engaged, burned his flash, and died 2v1 before Ruin could actually get there. So they gave up 2 kills, or I don't know if it counted as a double, I don't remember. It was, but 2 kills to a Rek'Sai immediately. Also, you burn your flashes. Also, they hadn't lost enough health that anyone had to go back to base. So, like, there was no trade-off there, because we saw, like, double lift in their second game where against TSM, where, like, he died a bunch bot, but he was still up in CS, because his wave management was spectacular. Well, and also Core JJ helping with that, too. But, like, oh, I had to go back to base. Well, I didn't really lose anything. I gave up the kill gold. No, they gave up the kill gold here, and also gave up all the CS and experience, because those guys were like, well, I can just stay and shove this under fucking turret. And so, yeah, Game 2 was lost, like, 5 minutes in. It was gross.
Yeah. Their game against Dignitas did play fairly well. And FlyQuest, thinking that they were going to come in and be terrible, CLG made them look good, which was interesting. But yeah, no, CLG was a disappointment of the weekend. I'm hoping that this is just like the new random craziness of like the new season,
right?
The new teams, like new players, like new everything. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna be like CLG of like summer split or spring split last year, where they weren't looking so good.
That's a good point.
And so, I mean,
I forgot how mediocre they were in the first half of last year.
They came in 6th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad, but that's not great, and that's not where they finished spring split.
Yeah. Or summer split. Yeah, they finished third.
Yeah. And so, like, for them to digress that much was just very surprising. And granted, it is week 1, and there's plenty of time for changes to be made, but, like, week 1 is in the books, and they didn't look good.
Yeah. Heather, I know they disappointed you heavily.
They did.
Do you have faith?
They didn't look good. Smoothie didn't look good.
So like,
didn't look good.
Their next week,
Ruin didn't look good.
Like their week 2, 3 days ago, I thought looked pretty rough, and I think it looks not quite as bad as I thought right now, because they're looking at 100 Thieves in TSM.
Yeah.
So how do you think their week 2 is going to go? Because I think Dignitas and Flyquest also looked better than we expected them to.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of CLG heading in? Do you think they can turn it around next week, or is it a CLG problem? You don't know?
I mean, TSM came in looking not so good either.
Yeah. No. TSM lost to Immortals, who's expected to be one of the low teams in the league, and to a Team Liquid who was playing a jungler they had gotten 5 days previously.
I mean, to be fair, that Team Liquid game for TSM, like they came in very hot. Mm-hmm. They looked really good for the first 5 minutes, and then TL did what TL does, and they just wait for you to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And TSM readily was handing mistakes out.
Now, was it TL doing what TL does, though, or was it TSM doing what apparently TSM does? Because they did the same thing in that fucking over an hour-long game that it took for them to lose to Immortals. Mm-hmm. Like, Bjergsen got ahead on LeBlanc in that game, and then proceeded to do nothing with her. Like, he didn't get, like, snowballing ahead, but, like, he got her, and then, like, it was like, okay, well, if Bjergsen's TP's up, we know he's coming from behind, so they always just, like, waited and watched for it, and he got nothing ever, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, they did nothing from the mid-game on, and we saw them do the same thing against Liquid, a team that they really put it to early. Like, they got up in gold, not by a lot, but they got, like, they got the kills on double lift, weren't able to get as much on that as they should have. Mm-hmm. They got the 2 first Drakes, ended up getting the first 3, actually. First 3, yeah. TSM blew a 3-0 Drake lead. Like, seriously, they had everything going for them and then just couldn't get it done. And it makes me worried about this team because that is a function of teamwork and having, shot calls and good ideas of what do we do next. Because you have to have a feel for the game. What do you do next? How do you push this forward? Because if you get a lead and don't do anything, well, fuck, you're not going anywhere. And on a team that has Dardoch, I'm worried if you start 0-2... and if next week you lose to, like, Evil Geniuses, who looked pretty good on their second game, and lose to CLG, who has not looked good thus far, does he immediately, does that team melt down or Dardoch melt down 2 weeks in? I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I was like that game against TL, they shot up to here, and they just plateaued immediately. Yeah. And at TL, they very quietly just took over.
I want to commend DL for that too, for not getting tilted and staying focused. And then he respected the hell out of the damage that TSM could put out because he used his Xayah ult early, just in freaking case.
Fucking TSM, they just kept focusing top lane. Impact?
Broken Blade. Impact for TL against Broken Blade.
Yeah. Impact, yeah. They kept focusing Impact, and I was just like, why are you going after the Ornn? He's got so much health.
Yeah.
You keep focusing the Ornn. He's got so much health. Everyone else around you is melting, and you've killed no one. Yeah. Just like, it was painful.
And
it was so painful.
The way TL played with Ornn, very much the way CLG, or was it CLG or somebody else? I think CLG had it on day one. And they built none of the Ornn items to upgrade. Whereas TL built the only person who didn't end up with one was the support who was building Redemption. Like, that's what you fucking do, because those items are worth on average at least 1,000 gold. Yeah. They mentioned one of the items Ornn built for himself, Abyssal Mask, is like worth 1,800 in stats.
I remember. I was gonna mention that too.
It's disgusting.
For that game.
Yeah, like, you pick Ornn for his engage. Also, you pick him for free fucking gold. Mm-hmm. And that's like a failure we saw in CLG. I think we're gonna see some teams make these terrible misplays at that level. EG on day one kind of looked like that. But let's move on from the teams that really, failed.
Yep.
And I want to talk about a couple teams who looked surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Not teams we would expect, like TL 1, day 2. Great. We would expect them to be good even without their jungler. We're talking about Golden Guardians. Mm-hmm. Even though they went 0-2, they lost on a Elder Drake steal, I believe it was, to 100 Thieves. And then they lost to C9 in a fairly close game. It went 34 minutes and they put up a good fight. Mm-hmm. Flyquest, 2-0. Dignitas, 2-0.
Yeah.
And Dignitas in particular, in my opinion, looks really good out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will eat my words here, at least temporarily. Aframu did not look nearly as terrible as he did leaving the summer split last year. He came in, he wasn't the best player on the team, but he was not hindering them at all. there were some matches.
He wasn't hard feeding on Rakan.
Yes.
Exactly. there were plenty of matches last split where Afro was just feeding. He was out of position. Yeah. He was roaming, trying to help, and losing 2 lanes at once. Doing so, it was okay. Like, I'm still not sold on Afromu yet. Right. But I'm not going to sit here and poop on him anymore.
You're putting away the whooping switch.
Basically, yeah.
You're waiting a moment.
I think that's racial. I don't know. We can talk about that.
I thought it was just Southern. I thought Johnson, in particular, looked very good. I mean, the guy has 4 top 20 accounts. 3 top 10 accounts.
Jesus.
Like, you would assume he's really good, but then again, you never fucking know how they're going to do in a pro environment, because the gap between solo queue and pro is significant. Mm-hmm. They play a different game. And he looked right at home, and I think that also helped with Afromu too. Like, it's kind of like his first split with Cody-san. I think before it seems like infighting with Cody-san and Meteos started happening or something. I don't know. But yeah, that first split when he was... and I guess they got rid of Cody-san after, like, a split and a half. Not even, just like that... he made it, like, split in almost 2. But, like, they looked really good when they were first together. And look, all of a sudden now he's with another very good 80 carry. I mean, with Sneaky not in the league currently, the kid's probably top 4 right now, I'd say. I mean, you still got double lift. Sven can possibly be in that 4 too. So that's why I'm holding out. And then Cody-san for sure. So yeah, he might be top 3. We don't know yet. But he looked good.
Yeah, nope. I was pleasantly surprised by Dignitas. I'm hoping that they keep the momentum up. Next week they go into TL and Flyquest. TL did not win both games this week, which was surprising.
TL
Flyquest
might have
did.
Broxa back.
Yeah, and that's just going to be game over for...
He's still in EU right now.
Yes.
That's crazy.
He will be in EU until his visa's approved, and then he'll be in NA that day.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. I know that it'll be like, okay, we've got it, you're on a plane. Like, fucking...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but that's still
we've seen before where
where
Santorin landed and played that later that day.
And he played like shit.
Yeah. That was... I remember that.
Santorin's not as good as Broxa, though.
That's true.
That's fair. But any kind of plane...
Right. And TL would make a group decision on that. Whatever.
That's true.
But, I mean, what do you think of 100 Thieves and Dignitas? I'm sorry, not 100 Thieves. Dignitas, Golden Guardians, Flyquest. Any of those stand out to you as being...
Fucking Flyquest, man. They were impressive in their wins, in my opinion. Like, I think they did, especially Viper on Riven. Like,
I mean...
Oh my god, why would you let him play that?
Yeah, but he's so good. Anyways, it was a treat to watch them be like who they were the first split. In my opinion, spring.
Well, so, I mean, CLG's win was not as impressive. Immortals looked a little bit better.
Win, so who are you talking about?
Their win against CLG.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their win against CLG was not as impressive. I mean, they did kind of roll them, but that was just everyone that CLG played this weekend.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, like, credit to Flyquest where credit is due. They got that early gank. CLG bombed, or not CLG, Wiggly bombed and gave them the second kill on it. And they ran with that. Like, it's very... We saw TSM blow a 3-0 Drake lead with gold lead, all that shit. CLG, or Flyquest, got the lead early on in that game and just said, nope, this is over. Like, Rek'Sai went everywhere, used that gold to get the other lanes ahead, and they finished the game. Like, I think, for me, it's really surprising because I remember looking at that roster just a few days ago and just being like, no one on this roster impresses me. Like, maybe Viper will be better. Santorin, he was good. He was the one top 3 who wasn't on a top 3 team. Yeah. But, like, nobody on that roster, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And then they play like that, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, there is something here. Now, granted, I don't think they're ever going to get Riven again, nor should have they gotten it to start with.
Yeah, I think that maybe he forgot how to play her.
Yeah. Like I guess the 4 months of off season.
They were like,
and and like immediately Immortals. They weren't even. It was the Optic org, but it's all different players. And I think they swapped coaches. No, it's still Zabatine. But yeah, apparently in 4 months, Zabatine was like, no one on this team is a one trick. Definitely not their top laner, who's known for his Rivet. Like, she doesn't do a whole lot in the early game, like in lane, but the moment someone who's very good at her, like Viper, enters a team fight, he just hard wins on, like, you watch Viper, he hard wins a whole team fight on his own. Like,
it's
obviously, the rest of the team does little things. It's like, oh, this is even to a losing fight, and then Riven shows up, and you're like, it's over. It is over. She is walking away with a triple kill, and you will never be able to fight with her anywhere near you the rest of the game. Okay. And that's what he does. Like, which is great for FlyQuest. Hopefully they can, like, turn that into just a ban that has to be in the first round every time, and they can start, like, trading power picks.
Did he play second?
Like, maybe they can get, like, Akali or Kiana now, because it's like, well, you have to ban Riven, so we can, like, fuck with our pick bans now.
That was the Ignore game. Never mind.
Yeah.
That one I have, like, just examples. Ignore. Fucking Ignore.
I agree with you, Heather, though. FlyQuest did impress.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the one team I mentioned them personally myself, I think Golden Guardians, it's another team who I looked at their roster, I'm like, what the hell are they going to do?
Yeah. I feel
and they actually, like, they went 0-2, but they looked as good as you possibly can going 0-2. They lost to 100 Thieves on a miracle Elder Drake steal by Meteos. Like, they set him so far behind early. Closer played that perfectly. I mean, obviously it was like a team call thing, like they had a play. He 4-buffed Meteos. I've never seen that in a pro game. I see 3 buffs. He 4-buffed him.
That was crazy.
And, like, put Meteos so far behind. Meteos basically had to go around trying to gank at, like, level 2 with no flash as Gragas. You know, and eventually, like, Meteos did catch up in farm, so credit to him there. But for the first, like, 10 minutes of the game, he was a non-factor. And that showed in the fact that they were pushed to this, like, Elder Drake fight where Meteos had, like, no health. You would have assumed he recalled, because why wouldn't you assume that? I mean, we were sitting here watching it, and I said, like, I saw him recalling. I'm like, he's going to stay because this steal is their only option. Yeah. He ends his recall, he walks around, and he gets it by a miracle. Like, the odds of him getting that are super low, but it's the one play they had. In fact, in their second loss, he had to do that again, too. Or, I'm sorry, in their only loss, I should say, their second game against EG, there's a fight where Meteos tried to go in and get a steal on a Drake, because that's all they had left. And he couldn't get it that time. And it just sucks that Golden Guardians lost a game they probably should have won there. And then, honestly, they pushed Cloud9, who I think... And I think there's going to be no argument here. Cloud9 looked like the best team of the week, right?
They did.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I would agree with that.
Like, they look to me like the one team who is playing a macro game in both games. Because against Team Liquid, their rotations were on point. Their vision was very good. Against Golden Guardians, they were only taking fights that they wanted, and they were pulling out of, like, other situations.
I think that Cloud9 playing TL on day 1 benefited Cloud9 way more than if they would have played on day 2. Because
wholeheartedly agreed.
Surefire looked a lot worse on day 1 than he did day 2.
Yeah.
Right. But also, that's him playing against Blabber. I mean, Blabber, who's been with that team forever, as opposed to Dardoch, who just got onto TSM. I think that plays into it a little bit. But I agree also, because Surefire he had been practicing with TL for like 4 days. And so one more day is a quarter more time. Like, yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I think that having Surefire come in a little bit like green, I guess, is that the right? Like benefited Cloud9 and Cloud9 capitalized.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So yeah, no, they definitely did look very good.
They capitalized handily too. It was 25-minute game?
Oh yeah. It was over quick.
Yeah.
Wow, I said 25 minutes.
Yeah, no, I liked Cloud9 that game. I think they did look very good. And then day 2, Golden Guardians did give them a little bit more trouble than I would have expected them to. But they eventually got the win, so.
But then Cloud9 kept putting Golden Guardians in a position where every fucking time Keith had to save someone. And someone was going to die, and Keith got the shit into that stick. But he usually saved his peoples.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I saw in a lot of the post-game threads, people trying to shit on Keith. But he was just doing what Tom Kench does. Yeah. There was one time specifically I did see that, okay, he shouldn't have been where he was. Because I went and I re-watched all 5 of his deaths.
Oh, yeah?
And there was one time where I'm like, yep, that's on Keith.
Yeah.
There was 4 times where I was like, That's on Sticks, or not, it's on
FBI.
FBI. It was
mostly on FBI.
It was mostly on FBI, and then also on Closer. Who's the jungler? Closer, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Closer was out of position a few times too, which is not unexpected against a jungler who's new to the team. I mean, he's a very good jungler already. He's impressed me. But he's new to the team, and he's an aggressive jungler. Mm-hmm. So, just like Blabber's going to get caught out sometimes too, because he's an aggressive jungler. It's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, with Tahm Kench there, able to grab them and get them out, and then he dies for the cause.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people want to light up Keith for having a bad game, his deaths are not the way to do it. If you want to point at other things he didn't do well enough, fine. Go look at the tape, tell me he did those, and I'll believe you. But his 5 deaths are 4 deaths that the rest of his team and more important players did not incur.
Yeah, nope. Golden Guardians did get kind of a rough go of it, but yeah, I think they've got some room for improvement. Alan in the chat said he doesn't think Golden Guardians is going to pick up a win all split. And
I don't think that's true.
That's hilarious because before we started watching matches here on Saturday, one person who was here, Jake, said the same thing. He said, he's like, Golden Guardians is going to win all split or whatever. And then, they played 100 Thieves and barely lost. I'm like, how you feeling about that now? He's like, not good.
I think they'll pick up. I don't think any team will not win at least one game. Because they all look decent enough, except for CLG. Maybe
Golden Guardians has gone a split before where they only won one game, which is the worst split anybody's ever done.
10 players ago.
That was, it was their first split as an org ever.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely... They didn't pick any wins up, but I think that they will hopefully fix it a little bit. Yeah. They'll pick up random ones here and there. Hopefully they fall they fall Team Liquid at least once, because that would be amusing again.
I can't look at this CLG squad and expect them to 2-0 this Golden Guardian squad after what I saw week 1. Yeah. Now in a few weeks I may totally change my tune on that, but and Golden Guardians doesn't play them until week 4, so so that might be a problem. I don't know, but teams they rise and fall, changes are made, and I think there's also a lot of teams we saw where there's a lot of cohesion lacking. I mean, like I said a bit ago, I think Cloud9 looked like the one cohesive team who was playing macro, and that's a big difference. Is they're the if you go back 2 years now, was it that 100 Thieves was in the final? That was 2 whole seasons ago, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Where that first split, that spring split, where 100 Thieves made it to the final with TL, it done in Miami. It was a split where the teams we saw at the top were not at the top the following split. And so much of that had to do with teams that looked good at the beginning and the teams that were eventually going to be better just learning how to play as a unit and becoming more cohesive. And I think there's a lot of that right now. Where, you know what, TSM's very possibly going to get it together. CLG, probably going to get it together. TL, that's just, they don't have a person. So if they lose again next week, whatever, they will get it together. Cloud9's the one team that looks like they have it together already. And everybody else is going to catch them. Or not everybody, a few teams will catch them in play. But they're going to get at least that lead on the regular season if they're playing like this now. But don't be surprised if we see them go, they're number 1 by 4 games into, playoffs, and they're not the best team. That's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
So, were there any players in particular who surprised you guys? Personally, I saw Closer, and I thought he did incredibly well. I knew he was a good jungler, coming from TCL, but he looked much better than I expected him to. In the jungler v jungler matchups, he honestly just seemed to win. He outplayed Wiggly, and he outplayed... was it Wiggly he played second game? Yeah, it was Meteos. Wiggly and Meteos. So, I felt like he outplayed both of them personally. No, it wasn't... Yeah, it was Meteos in game 1, and so then he played against Blabber, so he didn't outplay Blabber. No, but he kept up with Blabber decently well. I don't know, I thought he played well. He didn't make any egregious errors at any point in either of the games. So I thought Closer looked good.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I don't have much else to say about GG right now.
No, just players. Players who surprised you and looked good?
No, I wanted to switch things over to the 3 new teams coming into this split.
Okay. Well, and honestly, I thought Heather was going to say Jizuke, because I know you were raving about him in game 2.
He did really good, yeah. And that was real awesome.
That's all she's got to say. He did really good, and that was real awesome.
He was blowing people up.
Yeah,
like he's like he's ridiculously aggressive.
In their game against 100 Thieves, his LeBlanc crushed.
Yeah, his LeBlanc was better than Bjergsen's LeBlanc.
Oh, by a wide margin.
And I mean, Bjergsen was carrying that game on LeBlanc up until they didn't.
Oh yeah, the preview. Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring up the 3 new teams, because Jizuke being on Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I thought it would be a segue. Honestly.
Yep. So our 3 new teams be Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, and Immortals. 2 of them are kind of new in spirit, and 1 is a full-on new team.
Yeah, although 2 of them were full-on roster swaps, because Immortals did not carry anyone other than the coach over from Optic.
Yeah, that's right.
So
1 in spirit, 2 in like real new teams.
Yeah.
Dignitas being the one that them playing so well surprised me, even though they have known entities.
Is it because they have Afromu and
Huni? And it's 100% because they have Afromu.
And Huni?
Well, I thought that they would do well with Huni. Like, I love Huni. Like,
well, you love him, but you still know Huni over the past year and a half has been a coin flip.
100%, yeah. Like, he looked pretty solid this weekend. He looks like he is on it again. Hopefully he continues.
I think the casters pointed out, but the thing about Huni this week that I saw was him either not feeling the need to, or just finally coming to terms with it, not going the all-in and the big overplay for the sake of it. Because that's always where he was Feast or Famine. He's like, well, I'm going to try this, and if it works, hey, I'm way ahead. If it doesn't work, we're going to lose. And he didn't seem to do that this week. He did what he had to do, and let the rest of his team, who's very good, like, he let Frog in, and let Johnson... Or not Johnson carry for him.
Yeah, no, I like that. Maybe a little bit more subdued Huni is what we need, because he was making good plays. Like you said, he wasn't the showstopper. He wasn't the one like making the biggest plays there, but he wasn't fucking them like he has in the past.
Yeah.
So Dignitas coming out swinging. CLG again, they looked so bad, but. Against Evil Geniuses, that was a little bit more impressive. Evil Geniuses looked pretty good. I will segue into them. Evil Geniuses lost day 1 against Dig. They won day 2 against 100 Thieves. Mm-hmm. That game 2 against 100 Thieves was closer than I was expecting it to be.
They looked really bad. Evil Geniuses looked really bad day 1 and really good day 2.
Yeah.
Like, by comparison.
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's week 1 shenanigans. Like, I hope it gets better.
Week 1's always hard to, like, make predictions on, because you don't know who's going to have it together yet. You just don't. Mm-hmm. Like, I expect week 2, we're not all going to end up below 500, unless all the teams that were garbage this week figure it all out in 1 week's time. And they better fucking not, because I don't want to be below 50%, god damn it. We always end in the 60s, and this is going to make it way harder.
Yeah, this is out the gate not so good. That being said, our last new team, Immortals, they lost day 1 against Flyquest, which was a little bit more surprising. With Immortals' team, I expected them to play better than the floundering Flyquest from last split.
Flyquest ended up looking good, though. So.
And Flyquest ended up looking good, so kudos to them. And then they beat TSM.
In the most painful match I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. That was our hour, 5-minute match or whatever.
Usually it's not until most of the way through a season that randomly you end up with some hour game, and it's usually between 2 pretty fucking good teams. And that is not what we saw here. This was 2 teams who didn't know what the hell they were doing, taking forever to figure out which one of them wanted to lose less.
So we didn't officially come to terms with a bubble wrap midget wrestling match.
Was it.
And this was it.
This wasn't even one we would have nominated.
Not even close.
But yeah, you're right. It was absolutely. They were both so well bubble wrapped that nobody lost for an hour.
I want to commend Immortals for being able to hold out. I don't think they looked especially good, especially Xmithy, which is sad. He did not look good in the first match.
Yeah, I don't know why they gave him Trundle. This meta is not a Trundle meta. I'm sure he picked it because he is a very good Trundle. Don't get me wrong, but take something that does fucking something, because Trundle is not about the early game, and junglers right now have to be about those first 3-4 levels. You just have to. If your jungler cannot do anything for the first 3-4 levels, don't pick it. There's a reason we saw a lot of Rek'Sai, a lot of Gragas, a fair amount of Jarvan, because they do shit early. Like, and then we saw an Olaf, which ended up, like, yeah, he does shit early, but he also has to get ahead, so that's always a risky pick. Like, it wasn't bad because of the meta. It ended up bad just because it's always, like, risky.
It was sad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That Trundle pick was probably the second worst pick ban offense of the week. The first being not banning Riven against Viper.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucked to see Xmithy play that poorly, but I fully feel like I mean, obviously
play that good on the second match.
True,
like,
yeah. I know there's team cohesion issues for sure. That was obvious in the second match that they won.
Yeah.
But that Trundle pick was just horrendous, and it made him look like a sack of shit.
Soaz didn't look good either, in my opinion, which was.
I can't say I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. I don't really know who that
It is
guy
always a little bit weird when you see somebody that you know to be a good entity come in and just whiff.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Soaz for a moment. I'm like, Soaz was a good entity.
I was talking mostly about Xmithy and a little bit about Soaz.
Right.
Like, I mean Xmithy, formerly of TL, mostly undefeated last split.
Oh yeah.
They did super well in A. They floundered at Worlds, but still.
Out of all of Immortals, though, the one player I do think did make a pretty darn good showing, I think Altec looked well. Altec was playing good, despite everything else that was going on around him. He was doing all right. I don't know if his end numbers show it, but I just remember watching fights, watching lane, and he was doing fine. He felt like the one reason they were, holding up at all and staying, along for the ride and eventually beating TSM. So, I mean, hats off to Altec. I hope him and Hakuo, I hope Hakuo has a resurgence. I want to see him play I know range supports are kind of a death sentence right now, but I would love to see him play some Morgana. Otherwise, just keep rocking Leon and Nautilus, because that's his kind of thing, heavy engaged supports. So.
All right, so we've got our highs, we've got our lows, we've got our news, we've got our... where are we at here?
I don't know, man.
FlyQuest. They had a 2-0 weekend, but it was against Immortals and CLG. And
do you think they're going to carry the success going forward?
I don't know. I am leaning into the probably not.
I think if they can go 1-1 next weekend, they're a team that's for real, because they have Team Liquid and Dignitas next weekend.
Can you pull that up too? Whenever you get them.
Obviously, it's still super close. We don't know what teams are actually good and bad. I think, honestly, the only two judgments we can make right now, Cloud9 is good right now. Team Liquid will be good when they have Broxa. I don't feel confident making any other statements other than, Dignitas looks pretty good. I expect them to be a playoff team, for sure. Now that I saw them, what they are already, unless shit burns down, they should at least be able to be
Dignitas playoffs.
I'm
going to be cautiously optimistic there, because for as much as I love 4/5 of that team, I'm still being very cautious. Dignitas could do really well, but at the end of week 1, I'm not going to make any hard facts here or there.
So FlyQuest, what?
But FlyQuest, however,
we all had them 9th, and I think we all at this moment are pretty sure that's an underrated.
Yeah.
I don't see them finishing bottom 2 after what I saw.
GG should probably be 10th.
I'm holding my breath on FlyQuest. I'm not going to change my judgment on them being a bottom tier team.
But we could have 3 teams at 3 and then 4 teams at 7,
they can always
9,
tie,
10, right? That can happen?
It's if 3 teams tie for last, then they tie for 8th, technically.
Well, does that count?
Yeah, I would put them as not 9th. Yeah, correct.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right. You're I'm hoping they tie for last with 2 other teams.
Oh, that's LCS. Go.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All
right, so, are there any teams you're really looking forward to seeing what they do next week, whether it's a continued success or a pulling themselves out of the dumpster sort of thing? A team that you're hoping does much better or just continues to improve kind of thing?
I want to see Dignitas continue to do well. I want to see Afromu play like Afro of old, where he actually wasn't garbage. And I think with the team around him that he has right now, him not being the face of the team, I think that's going to do nothing but help him. Because when he was, quote-unquote, the best player on his team / the face of his team, like, he let that go to his head, or at least that's how I feel. But I think with him on a team with, like, Froggen, DeMonte, Huni, I think that he's going to be a little bit more level. And, like, I'm hoping that they put him into his place. Be like, hey, you might have been hot shit over there, but look how well your team did. Yeah. Like, look at us. Like, we've done well historically. Just play and, like, let us carry you, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not carry is the right word, but, like, let us help you. Help yourself.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if we've got a few viewer topics or questions to hit up. While they throw those in, though, let's go ahead and do our Saturday predictions. We'll just do Saturdays. So game 1 of that is CLG versus 100 Thieves. Honestly, as of right now, that is really hard. 100 Thieves did not convince me.
Yeah.
Like, day 2, I went ahead and I was like, oh yeah, they'll win. And then they got steamrolled, but I'm actually going to go ahead right now. I'm going to say CLG because I think 100 Thieves, their win was off of an Elder Drake steal. Yeah. So I'm going CLG for that game, even though CLG did not impress me.
I'll probably go CLG, but right now
also,
I have 100 Thieves.
Probably our Bubble Rep Midget Wrestling match.
Weirdly, I'm leaning into 100 Thieves on that one.
Weird. Yeah. Okay. Second game is TL versus Evil Geniuses.
No, Dignitas.
No, Dignitas.
Oh, is it I'm
sorry, yeah.
No, I just looked at my wrong column. That's my bad.
Dignitas versus Team Liquid, Team Liquid.
I'm gonna say Team Liquid, but I'm hoping that Dignitas makes them...
If it's still Schernfire, I think I go Dignitas on this one. I think the teams that TSM played are just not very good right now.
Ooh.
All right.
I mean, Cloud9, TSM, though. Yeah.
If Brox is back, then I'm going to definitely say Team Liquid. If Brox is not here, I'm still going to be
I will swap within 10 minutes of the match starting if I hear Brox is here.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Fair.
But I'm going to go say Dignitas right now.
I'll say TL still.
I'm going to
just
say
because.
Then Cloud9 versus Immortals. That's Cloud9.
100%. Yeah.
And Golden Guardians versus Evil Geniuses. That one feels a bit harder to call.
Golden Guardians didn't play super well this weekend. They also didn't play super poorly.
I thought they played well, but didn't quite get it done. I mean, they lost on an Elder Drake steal and then to Cloud9.
Yeah.
Evil Geniuses, though, looked bad against Dignitas and way better against 100 Thieves. Like, night and day.
Yeah, I'm leaning into EG on this one.
Me too. But it's basically going to come down to Closer versus Svenskeren, which is kind of cool. I'm excited about that.
I think my lean is also into Evil Geniuses, I believe. So, yeah. All right, quick question from the viewers. What do we think of Huni this weekend? I mean, we did talk about him a little bit, but honestly, my big takeaway was him not overplaying. In fact, he went deathless on Gangplank. I like this Huni, because Huni is such a good player, and he's not as good as he once was, I would say, but he's not far behind that, so he just needs to get out of his own way a little bit, and it felt like he did that in week 1. I want to see Huni continue where he is right now, and I also do want to see 100 Thieves at times throw all the support to making his lane win. I want to see Froggen on a champion that roams up top along with jungle ganks up there and get Huni's team rolling, because I think all 3 of their lanes can win when given resources, and I want to see Dignitas, work with that and do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier that I liked how Huni played. Like, I think that he played smarter this weekend. I like the comment you made where he wasn't trying to make such the big flashy plays. Like, he was trying to just be there for the rest of his team. Like, I was impressed with Huni this weekend. And, I mean, he was looking really good at the end of last split. Like, he looked like he was on much better form than he had been the prior 3 splits that I'd seen him play.
His Rumble, at least.
His Rumble, at least, yes. But no, I'm hoping that Huni continues to do well. I've been a Huni fan for a long time, so I do like to see Huni do well.
Yeah. Heather, thoughts on Huni?
I'm not on the Huni train like you guys. He's just a player to me. Like, He's not Wiggly because I like his name, and he's not Double Lipped because I like his face, but... or Core JJ because I like all of them.
Or Wild Turtle because you like his hair.
The Asians. He's my trio. or Wild Turtle's hair.
Yeah, you can't forget Wild Turtle's hair. Oh my gosh.
So, because, sorry, since we're talking about Huni and Dignitas, I'm thinking match of the week, maybe Fly versus Dig. It's the only matchup that of two teams that have 2-0, I think. And they're both playing cool in their own ways. So I think that's actually a good. It's not the typical TL T9 that I go for. It's something a little bit different.
Yeah, and part of me wanted to say it would be Dignitas versus TL, but if TL still doesn't, even if they do have Brox, it's on short notice, so I don't feel like that is necessarily yet. So yeah, I like that idea. It's Dig versus TL, it's the team proving who's actually for real, kind of thing. And I think we all agree CLG Immortals is probably. Or not,
100 Thieves.
Yeah, 100 Thieves is probably Bubble Wrap Midget Wrestling match, because that is...
After week 1, yes, I will wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah. All right.
Or TSM versus CLG, because they both lost too.
I'm interested to see how our stocks end up after this next week.
It's going to be trash for me, and I'm losing, and I don't like it.
Yep.
But, hey, you know what? I had some stocks into 100 Thieves, so that ain't looking so hot right now, okay? None of us are in a terribly bad spot right now.
Okay, can you go to that?
That's why I diversified.
It just shows how many stocks you have in which team.
But you won't have it calculated until after next week.
I don't do the calculations. Riot does those.
Oh.
Yeah, I take their numbers.
Oh, so it's not just
I don't know if they calculate the ELO after each game, after each day, after each week, after each 2-week period, because that would change everything entirely.
I thought I got just 602 for their one win times 3 of the stocks that I had.
No. You spent 602 per 3 stocks.
Yeah. I got that.
So basically what's going to happen
after 2 weeks, that value will either go up or down from 602, depending on the teams they beat and lose to.
Go down.
You could, say it's a low value team, they could lose to 3 teams, but then beat the highest value team and still possibly go up.
Do that, so.
Right.
C9.
So
they lost to that.
But it varies depending on who you beat and lose to.
So you won't have that information until probably after loggers of the second week. Because
it'll be before matches week 3, correct?
Okay.
So after loggers.
Okay, cool.
I very much doubt they'll publish it the day after. They'll probably publish it Thursday or something, maybe
cool.
Friday again.
Very interesting.
But yeah, if for those of you listening and watching, if you're not already in, we are doing the stock market. You'll be able to jump in on that before week 3. I'll send out tweets and in the Discord again, so just be watching that, and we'll get you in on that. I'll send out the rules for newcomers as well, because if the average value of our stocks are above, and we'll just go off our 3, not everyone else, just us 3. If we're above 5,000, you only get 5,000. If we're below 5,000, then you get what we have. Maybe we should just give everybody 5,000. I don't know. We'll think about it.
We'll see.
We'll look into it.
Get there first. But
right. We'll get there first.
Let's have the information.
But yeah, so we're playing the stock market game because Fantasy LCS still doesn't exist. When that finally comes back,
it's kind of close.
Yeah, it's a different version. When real Fantasy LCS is back, we will have a league of that.
Oh, so is it going to be
it's like
Wild
Fantasy
Turtle
football.
Gets you 500 points because he fucking didn't die or something?
Or they get points based on kills, assists.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to kind of figure all that out.
Oh, we don't do that either. It's an online app. It's all done online, just like Fantasy Football for most people anyway. Cool. All right, but I think that about does it, unless people have kind of final hot takes, anything like that before we go.
Hot takes.
Yeah, all right, everybody has to have a hot take. Chase, what's your hot take on week 1?
Fuck, I don't know if GG didn't do as well as I had hoped. Dig did better than expected. TSM fucking poo-pooed.
No, hot take. It's got to be.
What the fuck is a hot take?
Okay, hot take.
Is it like a hot cake? Am I getting some pancakes?
I wish we got hot cakes. Oh my god. No. So a hot take is something that's probably pretty easily disagreeable, but you're saying it just kind of get out there. So I'll start with one. Cloud9's gonna win this split. They're ending the split at number 1. Not calling the championship.
Okay,
but they're ending the split number 1.
Can I basically be like Jizuke, Ignar, and C9's bot lane?
What?
I don't know, just like the things that I like.
It's not hot. You're just I'm gonna list things I like. That's not hot.
They are all hot.
Her hot take is listing guys she thinks are hot.
No. I actually have no idea what Jizuke looks like.
He's not good looking at all.
Anyways, I'm saying of good players that I am happy. Zvin surprised me this weekend. Like, I was expecting him to come in and just be trash camp.
Sven's good again.
Yeah.
Sven's good again. There we go. That's a hot take. There we go.
With Vulcan, though.
Hot take, 100 Thieves does just as shitty this split as they did last.
That's not a...
They got dead last split, didn't they?
What? No, they were like in the running for...
100 Thieves?
Who am I thinking of? Was in the running to get the fucking... Not Cloud... Who was in the fucking
Let's see.
finals?
LCS 2019.
Finals? No. Finals is Cloud9
Not
and
finals.
TL.
Not finals, no.
100 Thieves went 8-10 last split.
Oh, okay. They did decent then. Never mind.
Well,
it says whatever they're... No, last split. Last split. Over here. 100 Thieves finished 8th.
10. Oh, yeah.
They finished 8th.
But they finished dead
So
last.
your hot take is 100 Thieves is going to be 8 again.
No, I'm going to go all the way to last. Fuck them.
Fuck them. That's a hot
take.
Fuck them.
All right. Boom. Sorry.
Oh, we got a hot take out of Chase.
Sorry,
I don't have a hot take because
I'm just thinking about pancakes.
I'm probably going to be wrong.
Are we going about... Can we go to IHOP after this?
All right, that does it, guys. We're going to finish these beers. We're going to IHOP. We'll catch you next Tuesday after matches. And until next time, cheers.